Pregame.com.
Pregame.tv, Steve Fezzik here, breaking down a proposition bet. My favorite types of bets. We've been on fire with those. People ask, why do we bet so much of those, discuss it so much? And frankly, it's easier to win betting them. Here we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, not who's going to win. We did a video about how it's really hard to find value taking one team. We're going to talk about NFC versus AFC. It has a point spread. NFC is laying 2. I do like a side in that game. But before I do that, let me discuss a few happenings here in Vegas. I got my retro rodeo outfit on today. NFR may be leaving Las Vegas, the National Finals Rodeo. It's been here for 27 years, which would be terrible. This sort of thing is great for Vegas. December, for those who haven't been out here, it's Cowboy Christmas. I don't really get the rodeo. I don't get NASCAR. I don't get the Electric Daisy Carnival. But all of these events, I think, are great for Vegas. And what better place for people to come and celebrate and be a part of everything. And, of course, I do get New Year's and the bowl games and people coming out and checking out all the football. But looking ahead towards the Super Bowl matchups, when we did videos 4 months ago, we talked about how this was the ultimate free roll to take the NFC +2, to get plus money on it. The reason being that if Denver made it in from the AFC, then the line probably was going to be AFC -2. But if Denver didn't make it, there was no other good team in the AFC. They're all flawed, be it the Bengals, the Patriots, the Colts, someone else that comes out of nowhere, Baltimore, that they were going to be a massive dog, whether they're playing the 49ers, we didn't know, the Saints, Seattle. And so we saw this as a bet that we'd make +2. We'd either get a market number or we would get a much better number. Well, now it's flipped around, and normally in an individual game, if you took +2, which is essentially like taking +115, and now you're asking me, would you want to lay $1.20 when they're a 2-point favorite? I'd say no, of course not. But this is different. Things have changed. The game has changed here. The Denver power rating, which was going sky high, has slid back down. That loss to San Diego is huge, and now it's less likely Denver goes ahead and represents the AFC in the Super Bowl. Further, Denver's power rating, everyone can see that Manning struggles in the colder weather. And although they scored 180 points against the Tennessee Titans, we can see a clear problem with Denver's offense for the first time, where they just aren't clicking like they were earlier in the year. They've always had some problems with the defense. I have Denver only as the 3rd best team in the league right now. Number 1 is Seattle. And what's key is Seattle is dynamite at home. They have home field all but wrapped up. I don't think anyone's going to be able to beat them. And you take Seattle and you look at how well they did in the road. They just totally shut down the Giants. And you put Seattle against Denver. Seattle's going to be laying 2.5, and everyone's going to lay 2.5 immediately. And the line's going to go to 3, I believe, because people are going to see the problems that Manning has. If it was in a venue like the Superdome or someplace in California, perhaps the line might only be 1. But in New York City, when we get some cold weather, Seattle, everyone's going to go ahead and bet Seattle at less than a field goal. And if for some reason Seattle doesn't make it, we've got so many premium teams in the NFC. San Francisco I have rated as my 2nd strongest team. And certainly the other teams out there that could pull the big upsets, Carolina to go ahead and get in there. New Orleans would be a little bit of a concern because they're certainly, they're kind of like the Broncos in the same way in that they don't play well on the road. They don't play well in bad weather. So certainly that would be the nightmare scenario that New Orleans gets in. But I don't think that they're going to get in. And I think that you look at all the different possibilities, it's probably as likely that Seattle's going to get in than anybody, certainly much more likely than Denver. If Seattle gets in there, we could have Seattle playing New England. They're going to be laying 5 against the Patriots. I've got Seattle a good 5 points better than New England in my power ratings right now. And maybe some New England love will come in and make the number 4. But when we're only laying 2 here, we have clear-cut value. This is we have the ultimate free roll going again, where basically if Denver gets in there, I still think -2 is going to be a good bet. But if Denver doesn't get in there, heck, you could have Seattle laying 9 against the Bungles or against the Colts or someone. So absolutely, it is a we're going to double down on this one. We took the NFC +2. Now we're going to take the NFC -2 for 1 more unit. And the naysayers out there are going to say, well, you're going to need to win this one, Steve, because you picked the SEC to win the championship and laid $1.20. And that one's not looking too good. But you know what? Auburn's in the title game, so we got a shot with that one. One suggestion on that SEC prop bet that I gave out before, you have the Super Bowl effect that's going to happen here in Vegas, where everyone who bets on Auburn is going to take the point. Everyone who bets on Florida State is going to lay the 8, but everyone who bets on Auburn is going to come up and say, I want the money line. I want Auburn to win the game. You're going to see that money line drop, and probably come game day, even if the spread's 8.5, you're going to be able to get Florida State minus 245, minus 250. If you did bet the SEC to win the championship, let's say you bet $220 to win 200, I'd recommend you go back and put $300 down to win like 140 on Florida State or 130, and basically scalp out a loss, if you can believe it, because the bargain is going to be so good on Florida State on the money line in that game. I think that's the way to go ahead and do. So we'll scalp out a loss on our SEC to win the championship, and we'll double down on our Super Bowl bet with the NFC -2 now. I'd get that now. I think it's only going to go higher. Really enjoy doing the pregame.tv videos on the look-aheads and all the props and the futures and ways to bet. And I can't wait actually till next year. A little sneak preview. I think we're going to be going over the St. Louis Rams next year, 2014. And Cade and I went ahead and talked about college football. We're going to be lining up to bet against our Rebels. Can't wait to see how high they put the season win number on these guys after they won 7 games this year, opened at 2.5 on their season wins. Good luck to everyone here during the bowl season. I'll see everybody later on pregame.tv.